ये जिंदगी रफ्तार, बिजली से चमका भविष्य, इंटरनेट की उड़ान, हर रेवोल्यूशन ने दुनिया बदली और अब एक नई क्रांति जो फ्यूचर डिसाइड करेगी, और वो होगा सबसे बड़े मंच पर जहां मिलेंगे बिगेस्ट माइंड्स। AI समिट 2026 सिर्फ न्यूज़ 18 पर।
They say future doesn't come with any invitation, it just arrives. And tonight, the future has arrived here. Look around yourself. This is not just an audience. This is the assembly of dreamers and doers, scholars and soldiers, builders and healers, and everybody who believes that Punjab has some brightest day coming forward, and we all are going to write history for the state. Good evening, one and all. I am Jasmine Kaur, your host for the evening, and it is my absolute privilege to welcome you all on the behalf of News 18 Punjab, Haryana, Himachal to this News 18 Network AI and Tech Summit 2026 presented by Nautapa Institute of Engineering and Technology, Patiala, powered by Bharosa Cap.
कुछ कॉन्वर्सेशन सिर्फ ट्रेंड्स नहीं बदलती, वो पूरा फ्यूचर डिफाइन करती है। नॉर्थ इंडिया अब उसी मोमेंट के लिए तैयार है। न्यूज़ 18 नेटवर्क के साथ AI एंड टेक समिट, जहां आइडियाज, इनोवेशन और इंटेलिजेंस मिलते हैं एक ही स्टेज पर। 30 मई को चंडीगढ़ में मिलिए पायनियर्स, लीडर्स और डिसीजन मेकर्स से। आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस एंड इमर्जिंग टेक, हेल्थ केयर इनोवेशन, इंडस्ट्रियल ऑटोमेशन और डिफेंस एंड स्ट्रेटेजिक टेक्नोलॉजी। अब समय है फ्यूचर का इंतजार नहीं, उसको आकार देने का। इसलिए फ्यूचर का हिस्सा बनने के लिए इस इवेंट का हिस्सा बनिए। AI and Tech Summit, be where the future converges.
Ladies and gentlemen, there is a saying in Sanskrit, Acharya Devo Bhav, which means teacher is divine. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to call upon stage our keynote speaker. But before calling him on the stage, I would like to tell you all that this person has dedicated his entire life in the pursuit of academic excellence and technological innovations. He is leading one of the most premier institutions of engineering and technology in the country. Please put your hands together as it is my honor and privilege to invite on this podium Professor Padma Kumar Nair, Vice Chancellor, Nautapa Institute of Engineering and Technology, Patiala. Please put your hands together for Professor Nair. At this moment, this audience is all yours.
Yeah, I think, all right. Thank you. Good evening. These days it is almost impossible to talk about anything without invoking this idea of artificial intelligence. But I have an advantage. See, today I am almost a Punjabi, but I am originally from Kerala. And in Kerala, I don't know if this is still the case. During our primary school days, all of us were taught to write few sentences about the coconut tree. You know that the name Kerala itself comes from the word Kera, that means coconut tree. So one time, for that exam, that question was not there. The question was about describe a horse. But all kids have prepared to write about coconut tree, and a smart one started writing. My grandfather used to own a horse, and he used to tie the horse onto a coconut tree. then everything about the coconut tree. Coconut tree is a tall tree, it's a useful tree. The same way. So, I'm not an expert in the area of artificial intelligence, but I'm quite passionate about education. I'm even more passionate about thinking about my country. And probably, we all know that it is probably a bit foolish to confidently think about the future and predict. If you look back in the writings of the last several hundred years, we have rarely been accurate in predicting the future. It is probably much easier to change the past than predicting the future. What do I mean by changing the past? You can look at history through multiple lenses. Our values are changing, our societal expectations are changing, our understanding of the world is changing. We can look back and we can reframe, imagine the past and change it, but predicting the future is going to be quite difficult. But I'm still going to make some predictions. Most important prediction I'm going to make is the future of our country is definitely not going to be defined by a set of technological advances. Let me make it clear. The future is not going to be defined by these sets of technological advances. The future is going to be defined by all of us and the generations to come based on our willingness to collectively and courageously showing that ability to deviate. The number one enemy of any society, number one enemy of any organization, any institution, is our lack of courage and commitment to deviate. Deviation is the mother of innovation. What do I mean by deviation? If we keep doing everything the way we have been doing in the past, we are in trouble. To that extent, when we show the courage to deviate, probably we need to embrace all sorts of interesting technologies, be it AI, be it quantum computing, be it advanced nanobiotechnology, or any other interesting technological advances we must embrace. But that should be when we show the courage to deviate. What has happened in the last 300-400 years ago or till today? Industries have not stayed the same. Business models have not stayed the same. Let's start with the Industrial Revolution. We used to use bullocks and horses, starting with the steam engine. Most jobs needing power and speed got replaced. Even the idea of horsepower comes from the fact that the inventors of steam engines convinced the mine owners in England, you can replace these many horses. That's how the idea of horsepower came to existence. So, steam engines have replaced most jobs needing power and speed. Then comes, about 120, 130 years ago, comes electricity and followed by some degree of automation. Electricity and automation combined replaced most jobs needing precision and repetition, producing millions of parts with precision. Then comes the fourth industrial revolution, that is the revolution driven by Internet of Things and big data. That revolution of big data replaced most jobs needing abstracting symbol rules from a large set of data. So that is extending to this Industrial Revolution 5.0. A large language model is all about abstracting symbol rules from very, very large sets of data, and when it is not at all organized. So then we would wonder, what do we do when we prepare our graduates? It is not about developing skills where machines are quickly replacing. And you all know that the term skill is used and overused. It's not a complicated term. Skill is all about how do you operationalize your knowledge for doing something useful. Nothing big, nothing complicated. Operationalizing your knowledge for doing something good. And also, if you look back, we are all very much worried about this profession is going to be replaced, that profession is going to be replaced. Can you quickly come up with a list of 5 professions that got completely replaced? I can guarantee you that maybe you would say that typist, or Western world historically they would say that ice cutters, that profession got replaced. Who were ice cutters? Before we invented refrigeration, in the north, or in cold lakes, wherever they could find ice, they could cut into pieces, and using sawdust, they used to export ice to all over the world for preserving food. So those type of maybe 10, 20, 30 professions have replaced, but professions just don't disappear. I'm going to make another prediction here that the profession of software engineering is not going to be replaced, not going to disappear anytime soon. Efficiencies would definitely probably reduce the number of people we need. But that doesn't mean that those professions are going to be replaced. In some sense, AI would, with the time, will increase the number of software professionals and computer scientists the world would need, because it will open up a lot more opportunities. Lot more opportunities means we need more and more professionals to man those jobs. When it comes to higher education or education in general, we must ask a fundamental question. What is a good education for? If we can focus on that question, the answer to that question, probably we don't have to worry about any new technology coming, because we can make the best use of those technologies. What is a good education for? It must help students, the learners, to navigate through their life journey. The idea of self-exploration and understanding who you are. Then it comes to the idea of intellectual humility and openness. The whole idea of critical thinking. Critical thinking is not about asking a difficult question. Critical thinking is not being critical all the time. Critical thinking is all about showing the humility and openness with a question. First to yourself, there is a possibility that I could be wrong, and showing some courage to ask a different kind of questions. Unfortunately, our education system is always encouraging to ask the same kind of question, because we instill the same kind of orthodoxies across the world. It is about asking a different question. It is about appreciating the fact that I could be wrong. It is also about showing openness and intellectual humility. Then comes the third and probably the most important aspect of higher education, encouraging our learners to get into this journey, the collective journey of seeking excellence. Seeking excellence is not about somehow achieving the highest quality. There is nothing like the highest quality. You can always do it better than before. So seeking excellence is developing a temperament of wanting to do it better than before. The idea or the temperament and doing it better than before for whom? Mostly better than before for others. Life is all about learning and creating and helping. We always go through this cycle of learning and creating and helping whom? Helping others. That's the reason why back home at Nautapa Institute of Engineering and Technology, we say that empathy is the mother of excellence. This is something very important and very, when I talk about it, this is very special to my heart. We Indians do extraordinary things when criticality is involved. Think about it. Our space program is one of the best and cost effective in the world. Our nuclear safety is probably the best. Why? Criticality is involved. There is nothing like a semi-leaky nuclear reactor. There is nothing like a half launch of a rocket. Either you do it well or not. The same way, nuclear safety and many other things. We Indians do a fantastic job when criticality is involved. Why do I think that it is close to my heart? Because our fundamental question is, how do we consistently achieve excellence even when criticality is not involved? Starting point is empathy and compassion. Empathy is all about understanding other people's emotions and being able to emote with them. When it comes to higher education and artificial intelligence, it is really not about worrying about artificial intelligence. It is more about asking a fundamental question about epistemology. I don't want to confuse you with a high-sounding word called epistemology, but it is all about understanding how do you know what you know? How do you know what you know is right? How do you know what you know can be refined and you can improve your understanding? Epistemology is all about that. Every discipline, if you're a philosopher, a chemist, or a physicist, or a mechanical engineer, or a computer scientist, every discipline has a certain way of finding, I don't want to use the term truth, finding useful patterns. So there is a difference between the truth and useful patterns. I want to differentiate that. The truth means that's ultimate. Useful patterns means when new ideas come in, you can refine it. Think about it. Initially, physicists thought that electrons are hard particles. We developed the old television, the picture tubes. But later, Heisenberg and Schrodinger and others came up and said, no, electrons could have dual nature. In certain situations, certain circumstances, you can invoke the idea that electrons are hard particles. Certain circumstances, you can invoke the idea that they are waves. We have scanning electron microscope, we have transmission electron microscope. Electrons, they could be hard particles or waves. At the same time, we have no idea what electrons are. But when we invoke a certain pattern, we can create useful artifacts for humanity. So that's the idea of finding the truth versus identifying interesting patterns. Back to AI. AI is definitely useful when higher education is concerned, but I'm so happy that AI was not there when I was a student. It is not a joke. Today, if you are a student, you need to develop that level of discipline to make sure that you do not compromise learning. Learning is not information. Learning is your ability to synthesize. Learning is all about judgment. You know, the paper that changed everything, published in 2017 from Google, the title of the paper was "Attention is all you need." Today, with AI, for all educators like us, judgment is all we need. We need to understand. Deeper understanding comes from your ability to judge. I'm so happy that we are together, willing to learn, willing to commit for a brighter, more beautiful, more egalitarian future of our country. Once again, no technology is going to define the future of our nation. Our commitment to work together courageously and selflessly towards creating a great nation. And remember, we need lot more innovation in policy, process, and the way we treat one another. One more time, remember, empathy is the mother of excellence, and let's create a nation with a lot of empathy and compassion. Thank you very much. Jai Hind.
Thank you much, sir, for that powerful address, even without a single line written on any paper. Thank you so much. And sir, now I would like to take you all to the studio, where my colleague is willing to ask you a question. So let's go to meet Irene, live from the studio.
Thank you so much, Professor Nair, for that truly visionary keynote address. Your insights on innovation, leadership, and the future of AI have given all of us a lot to think about. And before we conclude, I would love to ask you one final question. Professor Nair, as artificial intelligence continues to transform every industry around us, do you believe our education system is truly prepared for this shift? And personally, what excites you the most about the AI revolution and its impact on the future generation?
I'm so happy that our education system, not only our education system anywhere in the world is not prepared, and an education system should never be prepared. But once we realize that we are prepared, innovation stops, learning stops. But the goal of cutting edge, research based, innovative pedagogy as a foundation based education system is to constantly learn and adapt. And because we are not prepared, we are still prepared to constantly learn and adapt, and that's the way we will make the best use of advances in technology like AI.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for your wonderful answer. And thank you, Irene. Thank you for the wonderful question. Please put your hands together for Professor Padma Kumar Nair and this wonderful address. Now let me put the dat back because I am not tall like Professor. So ladies and gentlemen, if artificial intelligence is future, education is the runway. And the question we all need to ask ourselves today, our educators today, is, are we actually ready for the future? To get the answer of this question, I would like to take you all to the first session of the evening, Next Gen Education. For this session, I would like to call upon stage my colleague Misha Bajwa, who is going to moderate this session. Please put your hands together for Misha Bajwa. Now it's the time to invite the panelists on the stage. First of all, a leader who's redefining engineering education in the 21st century. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Professor Ajay Batish, Pro-Vice Chancellor, Nautapa Institute of Engineering and Technology, Patiala. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to invite the man with a sharp mind at cutting edge of electrical engineering and emerging technology. Let's give a huge round of applause for our panelist, Professor Rohit Sharma, Professor of Electrical Engineering, Indian Institute of Technology, Ropar. Please put your hands together for Professor Rohit Sharma. It's time to invite the third panelist. He's a visionary in computer science whose work is shaping the digital classrooms of tomorrow. I'm talking about none other than Professor Sanjeev Sofat, Professor of Computer Science and Engineering in Punjab Engineering College, Chandigarh. Please put your hands together for Professor Sanjeev Sofat, everybody. Over to you, Misha.
Thank you so much, Jasmine. Good evening, everyone. Good evening to my guests here. प्रोफेसर नायर को सुन रही थी तो कुछ जहन में सवाल आ गए। इससे पहले कि आप लोगों से एआई के बारे में डिस्कशन करूं, लगा कि उसके बारे में जिक्र करना बेहद जरूरी हो जाता है। कुछ बातें हैं जो प्रोफेसर नायर ने बोली हैं, उनमें से उन्होंने कुछ कहा तो मैंने नोट भी किया। उन्होंने कहा कि जो थैंक गॉड वो एआई के दौर में नहीं बड़े हुए। मुझे लगता है कि ये थॉट मेरा भी था कि शुक्र है कि हम एआई के दौर में नहीं एजुकेशन ले रहे थे, हमारा थोड़ा सिंपल टेक्स्ट बुक फॉर्मेट वाली जिंदगी थी। इनोवेशन जो है वो स्टेप टुवर्ड्स लर्निंग है, उन्होंने कहा। मुझे ऐसा लगता है, पहला सवाल मैं आप लोगों से ले लेना चाहूंगी कि इनोवेशन से क्या हम ह्यूमंस भी इवॉल्व और इंटेलिजेंट हो रहे हैं, या फिर एआई इंटेलिजेंट होती जा रही है और ह्यूमन बीइंग डम? जो रिसर्चर हैं इस इंडस्ट्री में, इस लाइन में, वो मुझे लगता है बहुत मेहनत कर रहे होते हैं, पर अगर हम जनरल पॉपुलेशन देखें तो क्या वो डम नहीं होती जा रही है? प्रोफेसर बातिश, आप ही से शुरू करते हो।
I will like to go back to my time when I was a student in mid-80s. I started as an engineering student in 1985. Those are the times when there was a transition happening from when the calculations were made using slide rulers and we were moving to calculators, right? And at that point in time, everybody was thinking, if people start using calculators and also use them in the exams, then will their mathematical skills still develop, right? Will they be able to do analytical thinking in their minds, which people before thought they could do lots of calculation in their minds? It happened. Calculator has become now a thing of past. We have reached a stage where AI has completely taken over almost everything. I think when a new technology comes in, it is time to embrace it. We can't run away from it, so it's better that we learn to live with it, right? And to this question of whether the new generation that is currently studying today will be more dumb just because they have assistance from AI and all these tools that are currently being available to them. My answer is that time will tell us in maybe one generation, but my answer is no. Because everything will evolve accordingly the way. So whatever possible was being done in 50s and 60s, when we came in, things became much more easier for us in 80s and 90s, and today's generation, it has become far, far more easier. So I think our generations, those who are now 55, 60 years old, we have seen a lot of transition. We have come in from an era which was almost like a medieval period.
I'll come back to that as well.
Right? But today's generation, in my opinion, all these are tools, assistance available to the students. They will adapt it, they will adopt it, and they will learn with it, for sure.
All right. So that's how you think about it. I would like to take the same question to Professor Sharma, you as well. I'd like to know what are your thoughts on that, because AI is becoming sharper and sharper because we are giving it all the information and the data to store. Of course, it's like processing data like humans can never do that. We cannot never match. But the thing is, what we see is, for example, the attention span that is shrinking for humans. So how are we going to cope with it? How are we going to match with it? Are we getting dumber?
Thank you. I don't think we are getting dumber, but there is always that risk. To answer your question, how do we cope up with it? Think of a day when you are doing a lot of things, you're meeting a lot of people. By the time you go home and sort of process all of that, you feel tired mentally, right? Now replace yourself with a student who's sitting on a computer or studying, and all the time for every second thing he's sending a prompt or searching on Google or whatever. So there is a lot of information which is sort of influxing into his or her mind. And at the end of the day, there is this information fatigue that will set up. So simple and sweet answer to your question would be that the learning should be still the old-fashioned way, where our receptors are the natural receptors, read, write, those kind of things. If you're learning science, solve it. If you're learning arts, speak it, so on. So if you're learning commerce, for example, analyze it, analyze the data manually. and then use AI as a slave. As long as you can do this, we would be sparred. Otherwise, we are always at that risk. So the learning has to be the old-fashioned way.
All right, that's wonderful. The learning has to be old-fashioned way. Same question to you as well. Your thoughts on it?
To my mind, the way, because if I look at my career, I am therefore in the profession for the last 35 years. If you look at the way we are getting the students now, they're much intelligent as compared to, I would say, 20 years back. Because now they know how critically to analyze the thing and come out with some sort of a solution for that, and how exactly I can challenge some of the existing theories over there. Maybe a earlier time, whatever teachers say, they will accept it. Now the time is, whatever teachers say, they will take it with a pinch of salt, and then they will like to evaluate whether whatever information, because why they are able to do it? Because there is a parallel sort of a system which are available to him. In case I teach him something, maybe he can just verify, find out whether there is something more than that available over there or not. So this is the power which has come out with the AI, with all sort of tools which are available to him now. The way the students react to these things is the way they are learning it. So to my mind, the students are becoming more inquisitive now. They are trying to become more learning sort of a thing, and they are not the ones who will like to keep a lot of knowledge base with themselves, because knowledge base is available to them there. That's a paradigm shift which has happened in education, which was not there. Thank you.
Absolutely, absolutely. That's how I also see it actually, that, at one point in time when I got to know there's this thing called encyclopedia. In my time, this was a new word to me. When I got to know that there are books by the name of encyclopedia where you can understand things that you always were inquisitive and you couldn't find answer to. Now if I want to know anything, I have my phone, so I can simply go ahead and search about it and understand that. So that way I feel so empowered that I'm able to learn so many things at just in a fraction of a second. So, Dr. Batish, Professor Batish, I would like to ask you now, coming to the universities, and how, since you've had a long experience with Thapar, 26 years plus, right, if I'm not wrong, how have you seen the university evolve and adapt to this new technology from the good old book, copy, teacher, lecture, pen, pencil days?
I think it has been an incredible journey for me for the last 27 years. We have come a long way from that rote learning methodologies which existed all through for the last 70, 80 years, which actually meant most of the time the teacher was like a sage on the stage, and everybody used to believe that the teacher is the depository of all the knowledge in the world. Everything existed in his brain, and unless he or she is able to help you out, you won't be able to learn anything. Now we have come to a stage where a teacher's role has completely changed from being a guide, from a sage on the stage to be a guide on the side. Right. Primarily because now student doesn't need, that repository of knowledge is not only existing with the teacher, it is existing in his phone, right? His or her phone. So with so much of knowledge and information available to the student, sometimes they do not think they need to go to the classrooms to study a content, because the content is available on the phone in a much better way, possibly with simulations, possibly with better examples than a teacher can give. So they don't think sometimes that they need to go to the classroom. So that technological shift we are watching for the last several I would say last 10, 15 years. And post-COVID, it has become even more acute. Now most institutions face these problems of now students not coming back to the classes after COVID, because they got used to studying on, sitting in front of a laptop and studying it from there. The content has become very, very good. So how do you bring the students back to the class? The teachers will have to now change their role into a because the students are getting into a self-directed learning, right? So what is the teacher's role? Teacher's role is to now provide them some guidance,
Right.
because the information is anyway available to them, right? So this is how teachers' roles have been evolving. We have done a lot of things in this direction. When world started to talk about outcome-based education and project-led education, we truly adopted it like about 15 years ago. And this we did, of course, with the...
Could you please put your mic here?
Sorry. So this, of course, was done, by us, realizing it very early, like in 2013 or 14, that this content-based education is not going to last very long, because we have to move towards now an experiential sort of education, because an experiential education is such where when students experience something, the learning is kind of lifelong. But when you study something to write an exam, you forget it in 2 weeks' time. Right? So what happens for most students is a rote loop that we talk about. You study, you prepare, you study, you write an exam, forget. Again, do the same thing, and this cycle keeps rotating. Now, go back to your school days. If there was something which you did with your own hands, that knowledge is still lying in your brains.
Very true. Even today.
Right? Even today.
Yes.
But whatever you read to write an exam has been forgotten. Long forgotten. Right? So that clearly is indication that today's education has already a lot of universities have started to move in that direction, has to move in the direction of a project-led education and experiential education and outcome-based education. And I'm so happy that Thapar adopted it much early, and it has been ingrained into our curriculum exactly the same way. As far as AI is concerned, we also, now since we are a private university, we take decisions very quickly. So we invested into AI infrastructure. Right? 3 years ago, we invested some 84 crore rupees just to buy infrastructure which will support all the AI education and our research programs at Thapar Institute. We have taken, as I just said to begin with, that once a technology arrives, you can't run away from it, right? We can say that AI is coming in, it is going to take away our jobs, it's going to do this, but it is here to stay. Now, when something is here to stay, it is better that we adopt it, right? So what we have done is, irrespective of what program a student is studying, we have made it mandatory for every student studying at Thapar Institute to do at least 9 credits of AI-related courses, and one of those courses related to ethics.
Okay.
Because all of, we see all this deep fake and, all the problems that we see. What is the problem with AI? The problem is that people misuse it at times.
Filter is a problem.
I don't know whether Professor Nair told me some days ago or somebody else told me, there was a top-ranked US university. They were interviewing people for senior positions, right? Associate professors and professors. And when they looked at those applications, 30% of those applications turned out to be written by AI tools. And they were straight away rejected, right? So there are also now tools available to find out whether this is all AI generated or something like that, right? So, of course, we should take help of AI, but at the same time, this ethics is so important to emphasize on top of it, and that's what we have done at Thapar Institute.
All right, fabulous. I'd like to take the same question to Professor Sharma, you as well. You've been with the IIT Ropar for about 13 years, if I'm not wrong, 13 plus years. So I would like to know about your journey in your institution. How have you evolved with the technology? How have you adapted the AI?
So for us, quite literally speaking, I am sandwiched between 2 legacy institutions, right? One is 50 plus, the other is also probably 50 plus, and we are only 18-year-old. We are still in our teens, right? So to say. So for us, the legacy issue was not there. We could directly sort of leapfrog, and therefore adopting technologies which were truly for the 21st century was easier for us, unlike Peck and Thapar, because there was that sort of resistance, I can presume, for them. There were those stalwarts who would say, "Kya zarurat hai for all of this," right? So we didn't have that challenge. But there's this question, right, that how does it impact the student, that is something which is at the the bedrock of our thinking, right? So when I go to my students, or when our teachers go to students, that I would sort of classify the way engineering education has been going on in the last 60, 70, 80 years is from exclusive studies to now, which is studies plus. And let me just spare a minute or so on this. So exclusive studies was a time of the 60s and the 70s and the 80s. The country had a large population from that point of time, and still we had very restrictive engineering, medicine, law schools, and seats. Correct. So it was very exclusive.
Right.
For so to say, almost elitist. Mm-hmm. To the extent that the 90s and the 2000s and all, we became study for all, sort of more inclusive in nature.
Yes.
What we are seeing today is that our students are demanding, not quite explicitly but subtly, is study plus something. So when I go and teach to them, they would still love the chalk and talk. They still prefer that I draw a circuit and sort of explain it on the board. They love it.
Right.
Chalk and talk still rules.
Okay.
But they would also like us to spend some time and hang around with them, maybe in the classroom, what's going on with your internships, what's going on with your placements. If you are having a rough patch, then okay, don't worry, you'll get over all of these things. These were things which were absolutely unthinkable when we were students or when professors were, students. So I think things have evolved, and now in the next 10 to 20 years, we probably have this plus component overweighing the study part, because the study component is available. Mm-hmm. It's available on multiple forums, both AI powered and conventional also. I'm not sure how many of the audience know here. There is this initiative by IITs called NPTEL, NPTEL, which has its own dedicated YouTube channel, and all courses are available, right? Mm-hmm. Free of cost. You can even credit it at just a fee of 1,000 rupee. That's it.
Wow.
Just 1,000 rupee you can credit, and many universities are accepting that credited course. So the study material is available in multiple forums. What is sort of the need of the hour is, how do you cope up with students who are sort of, exposed to this tsunami of information which is coming?
Absolutely.
And that is something where we need to evolve ourselves as educators.
So we are evolving as we are speaking. It's an ongoing process.
Absolutely.
But what you said, I'll take that to Professor Sofat, ki there's hunger for education. Students want more than the curriculum because there are too many questions to be answered. How do you see the education system or the university evolve to the scenario? Because आप भी अपने आप में एक पूरा इतिहास अपने साथ लेकर चलते हैं. तो how have you seen the university evolve to the modern technology, this AI, from textbooks?
I would say that the education, vis-a-vis my experience, says it has shifted from compartmentalization to the interdisciplinary sort of education now. Mm-hmm. If I look at initially once we started with the things, mechanical people, they will do only mechanical thing, electrical, they will do only electrical thing, and computer science, they will be sitting in isolation. Now, what has emerged now is, it's an interdisciplinary sort of approach which has emerged very fast, and that is what we have adopted at PEC also. Let's say in case somebody is a mechanical engineer, why he shouldn't study some of the courses of AI, some of the courses of machine learning, and in case, let's say, in case I can have developed some interest in that in the first year, can I do some minor in that particular area only? So this is what we are trying to do, and then there must be some student who feel challenged for the things. Let's say in case they would like to study more, can I offer them some honors program in a political program only? So this is the new emerging things which has happened now.
But sir, Professor Sofat, sorry to interrupt you. ये अभी का mindset set हो सकता है. हमारे ज़माने में हमें shut up call दे दी जाती थी ये कह कि jack of all trades, master of none. So उस time इस तरह की encouragement नहीं थी. एक stream चुन ली है और उसी पे चलना है. यही सिखाया जाता था, चाहे वो colleges हो, universities या parents. So you wanted to add something?
Interject here. You said jack of all trades, masters of none, right?
Yeah.
Probably the times that we are living in, or rather the students, it has to be jack of all trades and master of one. Right?
Correct.
That is how we should look at it. That they should know a lot of things, and that's what Professor Sofat mentioned about it. Honors program, minors program, concentration programs. But all of this revolving around one discipline. So, for example, a mechanical engineer may take some extra credits on sustainability, AI-based manufacturability or something like that. Those are those jack of all trades, but his mastery should be in mechanical engineering, as an example.
Yeah.
So one shouldn't really dilute it as a student to that extent that, it becomes difficult to justify what was your focus upon. And this is a sort of an occupational hazard which students would be exposed to.
Sir, I would put it this way. It's the market which decides all these things. Let's say in case some of the students, they do mechanical engineering, but the job opportunities are more in AI sort of a thing there. What they would like to do is, for either I teach him those sort of thing, or they will learn of their own and get the employment in that particular area. Because this is one of the driving force which has happened in academics, in the education. Student, not there as Professor Batish was mentioning, outcome-based education. For them, outcome is, can I get a good employment, whatever education I get from this particular source there? In case I can, yes, I will do it. Otherwise, let me find out my own way. This is what is happening in education these days.
Right.
And good or bad, we have to accept it. I can't say, in case you are a mechanical engineer, please study mechanical.
Right.
Because in case my market is there, they can offer him a good job. So what we say is, in the most of the market, there is a technology has got a very small life period. Whereas in case I have got a good communication skill, I have got an interpersonal skill, I have got a good ethics, that helps me in growing. So this is what has to be there as far as our education is concerned. This is what we try to do at a PEC also, by offering all these sort of option there at a PEC.
जी प्रोफेसर बातिश, एक बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट क्वेश्चन वो इसलिए क्योंकि वो पूरे भारत को लेके मेरे मन में सवाल है. हम एआई की बात कर रहे हैं. अर्लियर वी वर नर्वस व्हेन वी इनिशियली हर्ड अबाउट एआई. बहुत ज्यादा स्केप्टिकल थे हम सब. I think now we have come to terms with it. Mostly people have understood the idea that it is here and it is gonna be a part of our life. But I want to ask you, are we as a country, as India, ready for AI? Are we ready for it? Why am I asking it? एक देश, सरकार की बात करें या देश की बात करें, जो नीट का पेपर हैंडल नहीं कर पा रहा है, जो सीबीएसई में ऑन स्क्रीन मार्किंग है उसको हैंडल नहीं कर पा रहा है, एथिकल हैकर दोबारा हैक करके फ्लॉज और लूप होल्स बता रहा है, तो क्या भारत रेडी है या सिर्फ ये सतही लेवल पे है एआई अभी, और इसको बहुत पेनिट्रेशन और इसको अच्छे एग्जीक्यूशन के बिना अभी वी आर नॉट देयर येट?
I would say implementation of AI in today's day and world is a work in progress. When I say work in progress, still in nascent stage. So people do see difficulties cropping in. When you mentioned about these leakages of entrance exams, the difficulties with the +2 evaluation, which was widely reported in every news channel, with a student getting somebody else's mark sheet and something. We saw all those difficulties. See, with technology, certain things can go wrong. Since it's this is the very first few years of things happening like this, I think we saw a lot of these difficulties with banking as well. When I remember, this Y2K, I know you may have been very young at that point in time. In 90s, especially in the late 90s, there was a great challenge of what will happen when the changeover takes place from 1999 to 2000. So how will the computer systems behave? This Y2K used to be widely discussed. There were a few problems to begin with. Over a period of time, maybe a few months, everything settled. I think we should give this technology a bit of time. Have to be a little bit patient with it. It will improve. It will become, tamper-proof. I'm absolutely sure about it. So things will go wrong sometimes, right? Which we always see, and they always go. And we have to just keep improving our systems. Like when Professor Nair said, seeking excellence together, which means making sure that we are continuously improving, because nothing is perfect today. Something can always go wrong, and it is our duty to make sure that we continue to improve our systems. AI is here to stay. We have to learn to live with it, and the technology will take care of it with over a period of time.
जी जी प्रोफेसर शर्मा, आपके पास भी यही सवाल लेके आते हुए कि कह तो दे दिया हमारे देश ने एआई। देखो, एक ऐसी चीज है जिसे हमने नहीं, कहेंगे कि सरकार ने नहीं लॉन्च किया या सरकार ने नहीं प्लान किया अपनी जनता के लिए, मगर ये चीज है जो आ गई है हमारी जिंदगियों में। मैं वही बात कह रही हूं कि क्या हम एज अ कंट्री या गवर्नमेंट लेवल पे रेडी भी हैं? एक चीज आ गई है, मैं ये क्यों बार बार कह रही हूं, क्योंकि अर्बन पॉकेट्स में फिर भी समझ आ जाएगा बच्चों को, आपको स्टूडेंट्स को यूनिवर्सिटी में समझाना। क्या हम भारत के तौर पर रूरल इंडिया भी देखें, स्टूडेंट्स देखें, क्या हम एआई के लिए रेडी हैं, मेंटली कंडीशनड हैं, सिस्टम तैयार है?
So I'll answer this question in हिंदी, क्योंकि आपने हिंदी में पूछा। उससे पहले जो सर ने कही बात की, देखिए हर इवोल्यूशन को टाइम लगता है। जब हम ये कह रहे हैं कि आज कुछ और काफी बड़ी दिक्कतें आई हैं, नीट की हमने सुनी है, ओएसएम, सीबीएसई ओएसएम की जो बात कर रहे हैं, वो एज अ फादर मैं भी भुक्तभोगी हूं। सो बट हैविंग सेड ऑल ऑफ दैट, ये भी हमें देखना चाहिए कि इसी गर्मियों में 18 लाख 17 लाख बच्चों ने जेई का एग्जाम दिया है, एक भी लीक नहीं हुआ। 2 हफ्ते पहले जेई एडवांस हुआ और 6 घंटे चलता है, सुबह 7:30 पे बच्चा आता है, शाम को 5:30 बजे जाता है। और अब सोचिए उस बच्चे की भी डिटर्मिनेशन, 10 घंटे वो बैठा है धूप गर्मियों में, और उसके बाद कोई दिक्कत नहीं आई। इसके अलावा भी एग्जाम्स है, एनडीए का एग्जाम बड़ा हमेशा अंडरडॉग समझा जाता है, और जनरल साहब सामने बैठे हैं तो आई कांट हेल्प मेंशनिंग एनडीए। 300-400 बच्चे, लाखों बच्चे देते हैं, कभी इशू नहीं आया। तो इसके पीछे रीजन क्या? टेक्नोलॉजी तो वहां भी यूज हो रही है, जेई में पूरा ऑनलाइन है, सारा ऑनलाइन है, तो थ्योरेटिकली स्पीकिंग हैकिंग हो सकती है। तो इसमें जो सवाल यह है कि जो प्रोफेसर साहब ने कहा कि एथिक्स इज इक्वली इंपॉर्टेंट।
एब्सोल्युटली,
सोशल लेवल पर एथिक्स बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है। शायद जो हमें अपने न सिर्फ बच्चों को बल्कि पूरी सोसाइटी को सिखाना है कि इट इज ओके इफ यू कांट मेक इट। लेकिन कुछ प्रोफेशंस में यह हो रहा है कि इट इज ऑलमोस्ट लाइक स्टिग्मेटाइज्ड, राइट जी, और खासतौर पे डॉक्टरी में, राइट। और इसी वजह से आज आप देखिए कि वो कहां से लिंक निकल के आ रहे हैं कि किसी ने 2 क्वेश्चन उस शहर से निकाले, किसी ने 2 क्वेश्चन उस शहर से प्रोवाइड करके, एक पूरा सिस्टम चला था जी। तो हम कभी नहीं कहते कि आपको लेफ्टिनेंट बनना है, लेकिन कैसे भी बन जाओ या पैसे खिला के बन जाओ। इसलिए वो मोरालिटी और एथिक्स हाई है वहां पर, या इवन फॉर एग्जाम्पल जेई या इस तरह के एग्जामिनेशंस में। तो आई वुड स्टिल सी द सिल्वर लाइनिंग हियर। आई थिंक 1-8 साल की बात है या 2 साल की बात है कि इतना तेजी से इवॉल्व हो रहा है, और ये चीजें विल बी अ थिंग ऑफ द पास्ट। आपका जो सवाल था कि क्या अर्बन रूरल डिवाइड है, उसमें लोग इसको झेल अडेप्ट कर पाएंगे, मुझे लगता है कि, एंड आई ऑलवेज फील, हमारा जो रूरल पॉपुलेशन है वो शायद अर्बन पॉपुलेशन से ज्यादा स्मार्ट है। उनको नव्स पता है कहां क्या चीज करनी है, और जगह जगहों पे पता चला। सिर्फ पढ़ाई में नहीं, पॉलिटिक्स में भी आप देखिए, इलेक्शन के रिजल्ट्स देख लीजिए, आप लोग कवर करते हैं, रूरल लोगों को ज्यादा समझ है। इसी तरह रूरल जो हमारे स्टूडेंट्स हैं बहुत मेहनती हैं। कई मैं आपको एग्जाम्पल दे सकता हूं, हमारे इंस्टीट्यूशन में जो अटेंडेंट मेरे डिपार्टमेंट में है, उसकी भतीजी ने इस साल जेई क्लियर किया है, और मैंने उससे ऐसे ही पूछा कि आपने कोचिंग कहां से ली? बोला नहीं सर, वो इतना तो मुझे इतनी सैलरी हम अफोर्ड नहीं कर सकते, मोबाइल था, मोबाइल पे वो फ्री वाले जो वीडियोस देख के। और वो कहां है? रोपड़ में भी नहीं है, बल्कि रोपड़ के पास नानकपुरा में, विच इज वेरी स्मॉल विलेज। तो मुझे लगता है कि रूरल अर्बन डिवाइड अगर है भी, तो इस टेक्नोलॉजी से वो बिल्कुल डिमिनिश हो जाएगा। और जहां तक ये जो सेटबैक्स हमें लगे हैं, ये सेटबैक्स एज अ नेशन या एज अ सोसाइटी हमें लगे हैं, बट देयर आर वेरी गुड सिल्वर लाइनिंग्स। मल्टीपल एग्जाम्स आर हैपनिंग एज वी स्पीक, दे आर स्पॉट ऑन। तो आई थिंक वी शुड लुक एट इट इन अ वेरी ऑप्टिमिस्टिक वे।
एक छोटा सा क्वेश्चन और लेना चाहूंगी, वैसे मुझे कहा जा रहा है कि समय कम रह गया। प्रोफेसर सोफत, आपसे एक सवाल क्विकली चाहूंगी, छोटा सा अगर जवाब मिल जाए तो। लालच हो रहा है कि एक और सवाल और उसका जवाब मिल जाए। जब भी हमारे एजुकेशन सिस्टम में, क्योंकि हम भारत के लोग हैं, हमें माँ बाप कहते हैं कि पढ़ो मगर इज इक्वल टू प्लेसमेंट, जॉब भी दिखना चाहिए, काबिल होने से नहीं चलेगा, सिर्फ पैसा भी कमाने लायक होना चाहिए। तो क्या हमारे जमाने हुआ करता था डॉक्टर बन जाओ, इंजीनियर बन जाओ, फिर फैशन आया एमबीए कर लो, ये फैशन सा चलता है समाज का। अब एआई एक फैशन हो गया है कि एआई में एजुकेशन लो, क्या उतनी एम्प्लॉयमेंट है हमारे देश में? क्या एब्जॉर्प्शन के लिए इतना प्लेसमेंट के लिए स्कोप है जितना लोग इस तरफ पढ़ना शुरू कर चुके हैं?
I'll put it this way, कि as far as AI is concerned, that has brought a lot of entrepreneurs there. Now, if I look at the entrepreneurship, एक टेबल, एक चेयर और एक लैपटॉप से, 2 बंदों से मैं अपना बिजनेस शुरू कर सकता हूं, विच आज से 8-10 साल पहले मैं नहीं कर सकता था. तो अब इमरजेंसी ये है कि पीपल नॉट रनिंग आफ्टर जॉब्स. व्हाट पीपल वांटेड टू डू, दे वांटेड टू डू अ स्टार्टअप. They wanted to do some of these things so that they have got something of their own.
So they can make their living out.
And AI has facilitated this particular journey there. This is how I take it.
Right. All right. You wanted to say something?
I just sort of, in a way, concluded that AI will drive India's economic growth in the coming decades, just like IT had contributed. And for sure, if there would be one AI leader from the Western world, but there will be 2 leaders coming out of Asia. And without naming anyone, I feel India would definitely be there. So this is a bus we cannot afford to miss, and this is a bus that even if we doubt, our kids or other students will not miss it.
All right. Thank you so much. Before we end up the session, I have my colleague from the studio, Eileen Kaur, who wants to ask you a question. Eileen, can you please tell me what
Thank you so much, Misha. That was truly an insightful and engaging discussion. And before we conclude this session, I would like to take one final question for all our esteemed panelists. India today stands at the crossroads of education and artificial intelligence. In your view, is our education system evolving fast enough for the AI era? And what is the one major change that students today must embrace to truly become future ready?
Professor Batish, if you can answer.
See, I actually didn't hear the question very well.
Eileen.
No, what?
Future ready. She's again asking, kind of coming back to my question only, that is India AI ready, equipped? Are we ready for that?
Yes, of course we are ready for it. See, for me, the time for it has come. We are all ready, right? And every institution, even in schools, I see schools kids, taking up AI courses at grade 8, grade 9, grade 10 level. Give it 5 years time, I think we are completely ready for it, right? So I have really no doubt about it.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you, Eileen. So मुझे लगता है कि ये इस तरह का समंदर है जिसमें हमें फेंक दिया गया है और अब हमें तैर के पार निकलना है. एआई उस तरह का चीज है जो हम पे मुसल्लत हो चुकी है. अब हम जैसे जैसे समय गुजर रहा है उसे सीखेंगे और उसमें आगे बढ़ने की कोशिश करेंगे. प्रोफेसर बातिश, प्रोफेसर शर्मा, प्रोफेसर सोफत, बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया न्यूज 18 के लिए टाइम निकालने के लिए और हमारे सवालों का जवाब देने के लिए. थैंक यू सो मच. ह्यूज राउंड ऑफ अप्लॉज, लेडीज एंड जेंटलमैन. थैंक यू सो मच.
Thank you so much, Mishra. Thank you so much for this brilliant session. I hope all of you enjoyed this. Thank you so much to these 3 brilliant minds from 3 different institutions with one shared belief that whatever AI is going to build in next few years, it is not going to start with the labs. It is going to start with the classrooms. Please put your hands together for the panelists and our moderator, Mishra Bajwa.